Hi guys, today what we're going to make sure that we do is double check that we have everything set and ready for our graph analysis when we are looking at our egg drop experiment. So I want to make sure that we're going ahead and reminding that you have to start collecting data right when the egg is getting dropped. Otherwise your data is going to be skewed. So if you take a look at this video right here, you will notice that it starts collecting data right when the egg is being dropped. And that I do want to make sure you're also noticing that when we're going ahead and doing this collecting data, we're also going ahead and making sure that we're going in and collecting until the egg actually comes to a complete stop. So you'll notice that in this video, you'll see that there's lots of points at the end for where the ball has, or the actual egg drop has bounced. We want to make sure we go ahead and have that information there as well. Now, if you go ahead and scroll through the graphs, once you've actually created the graph in the video, you'll notice that this particular graph is the distance. So we have our distance on the side, and we have meters. So we have our distance here, we have our meters down here, or a time down here. So this is our position versus time graph. And you guys can go ahead and actually see that this is the motion or the position of the egg as it fell down to the ground. So you can kind of see that it actually bounced. You can see actually when the acceleration, you can actually see the acceleration rate. You'll notice that the times between each frame where the egg's distance got larger, so you can tell that it was actually accelerating or traveling faster as it was going down. So its velocity was increasing, so it was accelerating as it was going down. And then you can obviously tell that there was a bounce, so it changed direction. So there's difference in velocity here as well. Alright, I do want to make sure that once you open up the graphical analysis, the Graph into the Graphical Analysis app, you will see this particular screen. But you will notice that yours has two graphs. Mine, what I've done is I went up to this icon right here, and I went down to where it displays just one graph, because I really just want to look at one graph at a time. I don't necessarily want to look at two at a time because it's just one drop that we did. And then you'll notice that I went ahead and unclicked one of these buttons right here, so that I only have one check mark here, because really I'm just wanting to look at a position versus time graph. So our position's on this side and our time is down at the bottom. And obviously you can see that this is the path of the egg. You can see that it had dropped and it accelerated based on our steep line. We can see that it changed its velocity quickly, but that it also then landed on the ground, changed directions, and then landed again. And also then in this area changed not only direction but also speed. Now, one thing I want to make sure that you guys are aware is that you can actually select this little pencil, and when you select this pencil, it allows you to actually write on the graph. So if you double click at the start of right here, at the start of the actual egg drop, you can actually see the data points. So the XY coordinates, right here is our Y coordinate, and we have our X coordinate, so you can see the XY coordinates, and then you can actually go in here in this box and you can actually type what that data point means. So you could write at the start, you could type in the first moment of movement of the egg, or at the start of the egg drop, or whatever else, but it allows you to be able to go ahead and take a look at and make some annotations to your actual graph. So you'll be able to see that I've actually annotated the graph here. This is where this data point down at the bottom was the actual first landing of the egg drop. So when the egg device actually first touched the ground. So the reason why I'm actually pointing this information out is because if you're able to go ahead and plot the data points on the graph and actually have the XY coordinates, you're able to use that information to help you start to do some of the simple equations. So if you have to figure out speed, if you have to figure out acceleration, force, you're able to go ahead and use this information on the graph to actually be able to start doing that analysis process. So you may want to think about in your groups how plotting this information down on the graphs, so that way you can actually use it. Now, the one thing I do want to make sure that you guys understand is that you can actually take a picture of your graph then, and then you can put that into a Google Doc. And that's what my suggestion is that you take a picture. In order to take a picture, a screenshot, you just click the power button and the button on the actual iPad at the same time, and you're able to go ahead and actually take a picture. So that's how I actually have this picture in here on the Explain Everything, is by taking just a picture, a screenshot picture, and then downloading it. So you want to make sure you're able to take those tools to be able to start analyzing your data. Lastly, one other thing that the graphical analysis app is able to do is it allows you to be able to actually look at the data table, so the data collected. So you'll see that this is the time, basically our x-axis, so our time, and you can see the time for each data point on the video. You'll actually be able to go ahead and see the x-axis of if it's in meters, which we don't really want to pay attention to this particular column, but we do want to pay attention to this column because this is the actual y meters, and this is the distance that the egg actually traveled from the top to the bottom. Now I do want to make sure that you guys are well aware is that you want to make sure that you're not using the very, very top of the data table, especially if you didn't you don't know when your actual egg drop started. So the reason why I actually had you guys go ahead and use the data points on the graph is so that you can actually see when the egg drop started, and you can get that information that way. But I do also want to go ahead and show you that you can look at velocity as well. So you can see that you have your velocity data points as well, and that will help you be able to determine the velocity of the egg as it was traveling. To be able to go ahead and get this data table, you just go to this icon at the top, upper corner, so this one right here, and when you go ahead and pull down that menu, you'll be able to see your data table. If you happen to have any questions on how to use the graphical analysis any further than this, please make sure you go ahead and ask in class. What you're going to want to make sure that you do is that you're able to take screenshots of all of this information, all of these data tables and graphs, and put that into your Google Drive, into a document, and then share it with your group mates so you actually can start analyzing the data together in class. If you happen to have any questions, make sure you ask in class, and I will help you out as much as possible.